Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about YouTube eating Hollywood's lunch. Again, this is Markiplier's Iron Lung movie, taking in about twice or three times what they thought it was going to make.
Yeah, well, it's a $3 million budget, and he's going to get $18 million. So that's 6 times the budget just this weekend. And he did it himself. Like, he paid for it all himself.
Yeah, this is crazy because people are like, well, you can't really make a decent movie on $3 million. I'm like, well, you know, Blair Witch and there's some other, but I know a lot of people thought this was kind of a joke because I guess it's based on a game he played.
Yes.
And he got the movie rights to it and wanted to make a movie. And people are like, oh, isn't that cute? YouTuber wants to make a movie. That's not going to go anywhere.
Well, Hollywood, I guess you were sending me a thing saying they were trying to stop it from going to theaters and things. And then fans actually went out and made sure the theaters carry it, which we're going to talk about here in a bit. Let's just do our intro first. But before we get into it any further,
please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's moreclownfishtv.com. If you want to support the channel, don't do super chats over here, but if you want to support us, that's the place to do it. We've got bonus content. Maybe we need to make a $3 million movie.
There you go. I don't know what we do it on, but
brushable hair.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to come. It's a horror movie where the hair grows and attacks everyone.
It is. It'd be like the Play-Doh fuzzy pumper barbershop, like tentacle porn, but with hair.
There you go.
All right, there we go. So anyway, we'll go out to this guy's tweet here first. He kind of breaks down. This is Akash Gupta. He said, YouTuber with 38 million subs just beat the entire Hollywood studio system at its own game. Mark Fishbaugh played a $6 indie horror game on his channel in 2022. The game was Iron Lung, developed by one guy.
I bet they're getting sales.
I'm sure.
I'm sure that this is boosting sales for them.
He did this in his spare time. It had no windows, no enemies you could see, just a convict trapped in a submarine navigating an ocean of blood. The entire thing took about 75 minutes to beat. So Fishbaugh saw something the game industry didn't. The constraint was the feature, the single claustrophobic set, one man losing his mind, sound design carrying all the horror that visuals couldn't. This wasn't a limitation. It was a low-budget filmmaker's dream. That's actually true. Like, if you look at classic science fiction, it's smarter, I think, than a lot of the newer science fiction, or same with horror too, where they had those constraints and they had to make it work.
Well, they had to be creative, and now they rely too heavily on CGI and stuff. They used to have to find a way to make it work.
So he did what studios would never green light. I guess he wrote the script himself, he directed himself, he acted it himself, he edited himself, and paid the whole thing out of pocket. No studio, no distribution deal, no marketing budget. And then the gatekeepers showed up. When he tried to get theaters, they told him the demand wasn't there. So he posted about it. His fans called every independent theater chain in the country. Theaters started complaining to the distributor they were getting too many calls. So within weeks, AMC, Cinemark, and Regal announced they'd carry it. I mean, given where things are at right now with the box office, you would think they'd be begging for anything that would bring people into the theater.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, this is like nothing burger, because this is kind of like when they had who was it that was really big? Was it PewDiePie or something that was on TV or something, and people like the celebrities like, who's that? And everybody was like,
it was PewDiePie. Out. Yeah, it was an award show, and they were all like laughing at him, like, who is this guy?
Yeah, but more people knew who he was than some of the people that were laughing, and that's how it is. And of course, there's this gatekeeper mentality, and we saw it in comics and other stuff. It doesn't surprise me; it's here too. And they're like, we don't want to waste the money carrying it and taking a screen away from a bigger release. But lately, the big releases are lucky if they hit 18 million in opening at this point in time. Well, I mean, it is what it is.
We talked about Hoppers the other day. That's a new Pixar movie, and they're saying it's only tracking for 15 to 18 million opening weekend. That's a big budget Pixar movie.
Millions of dollars for that one. And it's like when you have somebody who has a giant following, and now I guess it's trending on TikTok and stuff, that everybody's dressing up as Markiplier and going to the movie. It's kind of like turning into a Barbieheimer, where it's becoming a viral, or the Minecraft, chicken jockey, where it's becoming a viral event. And so people are going to go see it because they want that to be part of that viral experience, and that's just boosting it more and more. And when you're somebody who already has a huge platform, you can command that to happen. And that's what he did in a way. And people that support him are supporting the movie. Unfortunately, Hollywood, who's already trying to take over YouTube, is going to see this and be like, hot damn, let's go definitely need to get into YouTube or get a couple YouTubers. And, the guy in charge of YouTube's going to go kiss their ass and do whatever they want.
Oh, yeah.
And they're
Neil
going to try to
Mohan,
push.
yeah.
We got to get, we don't want the plebs. So we're going to get one of our celebrities to start a YouTube channel. It's going to get promoted really fast, really hard to make sure they get all kinds of subscribers. Then we're going to let them do like a really cheap ass movie. And then we're going to have everybody, come to see it and make it go viral because, we're going to get $3 million movie and make $30 million off of it because it's a celebrity. And that's what they're going to try to pull. They don't understand that it only works because he isn't one of them.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. And that's just it. Like, people are looking for alternatives, and that's why they're going to YouTube, is to look for alternatives to mainstream entertainment. And it's weird though, because Markiplier tried before to do TV, but that was Disney. That was Maker Studios. That was years ago. They tried to make him a TV thing and it didn't work. So a lot of these guys probably got discouraged. Him, and I know Rhett and Link tried to do the TV thing. And I wonder if on some level there aren't people in Hollywood that are just like, nope, we're just going to flip a few switches here and make sure they don't go anywhere because, this is a huge threat.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what happens. I think they have, big enough audience. But my next thing is, if you have a big enough audience online and everybody pretty much is online, why you need to be on TV anyway? Honestly,
exactly.
You don't
if YouTube
need
is
that.
TV, right? If YouTube is TV.
Everybody's watching, more people are watching, television via YouTube, whether it be streaming or, videos, which I think it's because people like the creator videos. Yeah. If they're doing that anyway, why do you need their permission? You don't. Why do you need to go through them and have a TV show? You don't.
You don't.
They're just trying to use you to plug themselves in to play the game. And it doesn't work because that's not what the audience wants. The audience wants this. They don't want your version of TV via the studio. That's not what they want. If they wanted that, they'd watch what the studio puts out, and they don't.
And we saw this in comics, and we saw this in animation too. We saw in comics that, like, the comic book industry, the mainstream comic book industry, got so angry that people were doing an end run around them and going to crowdfunding and finding a success over there, regardless of the politics. They were just mad that they were doing it without permission, and they were looking for reasons to get people canceled, right? Same with animation too. Everybody was like, oh yeah, the stupid indie, whatever, it's not going to go anywhere. Well, then you have, Glitch, and you've got, Hell of a Boss and all that stuff, and they're doing really well, and they got their own deals. And that is going to be the new normal, where you're going to have to do the legwork yourself, build your audience, and then get the deal.
Well, there's a few reasons why you can't. One of them is because studios they want to make sure they control everything. They want to make sure they have a cut of everything. If they get money and they just get to get richer and richer. Two, you have the unions who think that they need to be, they need a cut of everything. You have to go through them to get their permission to do whatever. And these things are outside of that. So basically you have an ecosystem based on a few people running everything, getting a cut of everything, getting to control everything, being mad that they have no control over it. So now they're kissing the YouTube guy's ass, trying to get him to play ball with them so that they can go back to controlling everything. And all you're going to do is kill it because no one wants your shit. They'd be going to you now and ignoring YouTube if they wanted your shit. But they don't. So just making it more your shit isn't going to change anything. And meanwhile, Markiplier has proven you all wrong. I mean, he's proven this like right now. And you're going to be pissed about it.
Yeah, this is coming from World of Real. This weekend is going to be one of the strangest and most telling box office stories in recent memory. Iron Lung is on track to potentially hit #1 at the domestic box office. It's presently neck and neck with Sam Raimi's Send Help. I think it's another horror movie. For the top spot with 18 million receipts, the film is described as grim, claustrophobic, and veering into horror film genres. Fishbaw's adaptation of a low-budget indie video game. The result is a YouTuber topping the box office with a self-financed feature, which would have sounded like a punchline 5 years ago. It's reality.
Well, this is what we're telling you to do. Now, part of me is like, get your butt to the theater and support it. The other part of me is like, but then I know what's going to happen. As soon as he does well, they're going to try to push him out and take over and push all us out and take over because they're going to think that there's money there. They're going to run after and kill it all. But, honestly, just to stick it to Hollywood, I'd go see this movie.
Well, that's just it. But they're terrified. The critics are not impressed. They said they only had 10 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes because they're not part of it's not part of the system.
Right.
If they're part of the system, they send your film out to all these people, and they're trying to below the studios to get them to give
Well,
give
that's
them
like
free stuff in the future.
The Melania film, like the critics, it has a 7%. I mean, I don't know if the film's any good. It might be false. I don't know.
No,
but the point is, like, the critics are like laughing. It only has 7% critical. Yes, because it's the same. Because it went to the critics and the movie people who hate Trump. You know what I mean? Of course, it's going to have 7%. But the audiences, they said it's gonna do pretty okay this week at the box office, and the audiences are giving it a good score, and they're having a hissy about it. They're like, oh, it's you're inflating it artificially. Of course, what they're saying is completely the truth, and everybody else is inflating it artificially. Same here. Critics don't like it, but then they could be just doing it because they're pissed that he went outside the system. And you're talking about the same system that gave hoppers to a bunch of people to be like suck ass. It's the best thing ever because they're desperate. It's gonna fail.
And
that's what it's a game.
Yeah, we're talking $200 million versus $3 million. And
he's already broken even at this point.
I know, right? And I don't know what his distribution or who's distributing it, if he's doing it himself or what. I mean, anymore.
Even then, if you don't have the Hollywood bloat, you don't have to do that. I think 2.5 times. You probably half a time on top. It's probably if it's only made $5 million back, he's probably going to be okay.
You know what is it? Kind of a scary thought. I think anymore, to get people to the theater, people will go to the theater just to have that theatrical experience, even for old movies. Like we've gone and seen a couple of old movies in the theater. It was really cool to see them. You see all the detail. Could it be that in the future, the movie theaters will still exist, but it might be like, hey, we're going to do a marathon of this YouTuber's stuff or whatever. We're going to have an animation festival.
This could be the beginning of it. Like if he did it and it works, other YouTubers are going to do the same thing, and you might see that companies will pop up to represent YouTubers so they can do their own independent films, and they'll help them get it done and they'll take a cut of it or whatever. But you might start seeing that now because this one did well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'll see some really shit stuff.
Oh, I'm sure you're going to see some shit stuff. I don't know. This one is any good or not. I couldn't tell you.
I don't know, but it's impressive that he did it. Now, they said, this is a warning to Hollywood. This might be the future. But the thing is
that's just going to be an invitation to them to try to push everybody else and try to push everybody else out and take over this. And all it's going to do is just ruin something else that they're trying to touch.
They're going to have to... the theater owners, if they want to survive, they're going to have to cut deals outside of the Hollywood system. Because I think there's all kinds of content out there they could be screening that they could be making money from, but they're going to have to go outside that studio system, because the studio system, remember, the studios and the streamers, especially when Netflix happens, Netflix, Warner Brothers, like they own all the streaming services. They're going to keep people on the streaming platform. They're not going to give you shit to run the theater.
When it works, they're going to double down on it, because like we had K-pop Demon Hunters was released, and AMC, it was AMC, yeah, one of them wouldn't carry it. I think it was AMC. Yeah, wouldn't carry it. And then they did it again, and then they were all over it because everybody else made out and they lost. And that's just it. You're going to have to start doing that, because there are things people want to see, and it's not the Hollywood big blockbusters. It's like, there's the Midas touch. The Hollywood's more like the shit touch at this point in time. And except for a few exceptions, the stuff people want to see isn't even what they're putting out.
Yeah. Now I got real quick. I got a almost Markiplier story. Can I tell the almost Markiplier?
Oh yeah,
story?
I was wondering if you're going to tell about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. So once upon a year, before Markiplier was that big, he was just starting out. His brother actually is the guy who does the Two Kinds webcomic. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. And we used to all be on KeenSpot together. We were supposed to rent a house together in California for San Diego Comic-Con. This would have been like 2012, 2013. Unfortunately, my grandfather was on his deathbed, and I canceled, going to the show. But I would have actually spent the weekend with Markiplier, which would have been pretty cool. He was doing comics with them back then, I guess. But that was before he was like this big. So
he was still doing pretty well though.
He was still doing. He sold a few million subs. Yeah, I can't remember. Like I didn't even know who he was.
Kids are like, wait, what?
Yeah, kids are like, Markiplier. I'm like, who's who? I just know it's like, I was just like, oh, it's the Two Kind guy's brother's going to be there, and the Two Kinds guy, and then some other people from KeenSpot. And I had no idea who it was. And so I almost spent the weekend in the house with Markiplier, but that's okay,
No, you did. You're a liar. We have so many stories. We've done so many things.
Oh, I got a couple that people would never believe, and I'm not even going to mention them on air. So there we go.
All right. So we're going to wrap this up?
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.